They said Gray paved the way, changed the rate, released the pain, least you sane, getting paid, trend setting, brighter days, doper rap, tighter set, high and deadly, I'm a fighter jet, Jeremy.
He's back.
What's really good, ladies and gentlemen? It's the OG Boricua Dandada. I'm here with none other than the king of muffins, Muffins Martinez himself, Rob K of MLW Confusion, Bill Vink, who just wants to play Now You See Me, Now You Don't of Generation E podcast. Gentlemen, we just talked some Alec Tang, we saw some Don King. This one I want to talk to calling because I want to go from something I really like to something not so much, and then we'll go in a better direction in between segments. The calling beating SST, and they're now tag team champions. Akira is the middleweight champion. Mandy Leon has had a nice stretch. She has 2-0. She's had 2 really good wins. And they were showcased really strong last week, I think it was. Other than that, they kind of just been there, right? Like there's nothing that you go, okay, sure. We still don't know what's going on with Cesar Duran. If he's missing by them or not, who knows? But now they're holding more gold and they're being thrown down our throats. I wanted to like this group. I really wanted to say, man, I'm a fan of the calling. Outside of Mandy Leon, who I admit my biasness to, I really could care less about the calling anymore. Like, there's nothing that says, oh shit, they're this legit badass group. And not for nothing, I really didn't see. It made no sense for me for them to beat SST. The only thing I hope that comes out of it is if Lance goes solo and starts killing everybody, because that guy's super talented. But the calling, talk to me, gentlemen, because I feel that this is like some utter trash. Anybody? All
right, so because I'm actually in the middle of like since I'm actually like multitasking here because someone just gave me that's a very important phone call I got to get back to. I'll say this and kind of dip out. So yeah, the calling. The only thing that can come from this realistically is I guess you can say legitimacy, maybe. That's probably the only thing I think that MLW probably thought that like, oh, if they have a legit win here against a team that has been kind of wrecking shop, maybe it'll do some wonders. Maybe it'll lead to a deeper feud between SST, Fatu, and the calling. That's the only thing I can think of. And also maybe it's like more so, I wouldn't say they're trying to do the competition where they slowly get gold, but more so as at least now you can kind of like, you're like, oh, that's the calling. Like it maybe just adds them, it maybe makes them look a little bit more like some actual bad guys instead of like the freaking goth group. You know, the other kids at the lunch table who are like in the corner, you know, the weird ones, if you will.
Whoa.
No offense to anyone out there that's goth, but
in the corner of the table.
I'm just saying, for those who know, you know. Anyway, that's all I have to say.
Well, as one of those goth kids in the corner, I'll jump in.
Let him know, Rob. Let him know.
I mean, as a whole, like I agree. The calling I feel has been hit and miss, just in general. I don't think there's been like a strong like unifying reason for the calling to be together. It's not like Contra, who did kind of some of the similar shtick, but like Contra like flat out said like, we're going to come in and cause chaos and burn everything to the ground. Like the calling just kind of seems like it's kind of like Raven's little plaything-ish for some slight that was 20 years ago that they never really fully developed. That being said, I will also note that I am a fan of RSP. I am a fan of Akira in general. So, like, you know, for me, like, when it comes to in-ring stuff, like, I'm all for it. It's just the everything else in the background that I kind of like roll my eyes at because does kind of come off at times as like edgy kids trying to be edgy. I wasn't too surprised about the title change because again, like the calling really like hasn't really come across as having a full-on signature win until like the last couple of weeks or so. Because yes, they won War Chamber, but that seemed more almost like a fluke than anything else. Like it didn't seem like a legitimate win somehow, or like they never followed
That's
it.
the Hammerstone.
And they never really followed up properly on that as like we're big and bad. It was just like here's a win and carry on to next week. So like I could see this one going either way, just because again, like it's fans bring their weapons. We got two like guys who established themselves in the hardcore deathmatch scene in Ricochet and Page and Akira, and not that N.W.A and Josef now haven't had their stake in wild brawls either. Like they've had some very good brawls, but like once we start throwing in various toys and cutting things, that is more the Calling's wheelhouse. I'm kind of surprised they went along with the double champion thing. That kind of shocked me. Like I figured if anything that was going to hold them back, it was going to be Akira holding the middleweight championship, and then maybe like a different combination of the Calling get the titles.
That's what I thought they were going to do with Delirious and RSP. They would have Akira, and that's why I was like,
or Dr. Cornwallis, or whomever. I kind of figured it'd be some other combo. Which, don't get me wrong, I think this combo would be best, like in terms of the in-ring product overall. Especially again, if you're doing these wild brawls, like these are the guys you kind of want to do it. Like, not Delirious is great, but like once we start introducing weapons, like he's had his share, but like he's not the weapons guy like Ricochet and Page is. He's not like Akira.
The beef with the Calling is that they don't utilize their badass thing. Like Dr. Cornwallis is nothing but an extra big guy. Delirious had like one thing and that's it. It's just Ricochet.
I kind of forgot he was with the group. I kind of forgot he was with the group until he showed up ringside. But yeah, as I said, like it's the outside stuff kind of like loses me, but like in ring, like I do enjoy the Calling a lot, like because that is, I was telling Muffins before we started recording, my wrestling fandom in terms of what I like best in my wrestling comes in one of two fronts, and they're diametrically opposed. I either want like ugly guys stretching each other, or I want ugly guys cutting each other with light tubes. Like those are like I either want like pure like wrestling of guys trying to injure each other and make each other submit, or I just want the garbage, like the absolute opposite of that pure wrestling. So like I mean I enjoyed it. It was a good match. I will also say is like WTF with Lance getting that game console wrapped in barbed wire kicked across his face. Like that was like, don't get me wrong, like he obviously was okay with it happening, but like that was like the least safe thing I've seen in quite some time, just with the nature of barbed wire and the face area. And like face washes are either like 100% like fake, like you miss them by a mile, or they're pretty stiff. And like he definitely took at least some of the barbed wire to the face. It wasn't enough to like gash him or anything, but like anytime you get barbed wire near the eyes, like I do kind of like back off a little bit. But overall, like back at the point of the match, like I was kind of surprised. Like I did feel this match could go either way. Like I could see either team winning, though I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure where SST would go with the titles if they won again, unless there was a rematch and they lost it there, just because the tag division doesn't really have much in terms of serious contenders. But otherwise, like it was, if you were a fan of wild weapons field brawls, like you'll love this match. Like it was pure chaos, and for me the best way possible.
Yeah, I'm still not feeling the Calling. I love Mandy Leon. That's about it. And I'm thinking to myself, I mean, this is the Calling biggest night for Raven couldn't be there. Your mastermind, your leader is not there at the actual show. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
That's my beef with it. Is every time you want to like the Calling, it's not executed right. Where Contra Unit, listen, I'm not shitting on Raven. He'll never do what Josef Samael did. That he's not. But Josef Samael was always ringside. He knew how to work a crowd. He made you pay attention to him in ring. The Calling just seems, and I like Ricochet and Page. I've been on here. I like his work. I like Akira, but it just feels like when you got a Rubik's Cube and you just flip it around trying to make something stick. There's no consistency to the Calling, and that's my beef with the Calling. It's like I want to like them, but you give me nothing to sit back and go, oh, I see the vision. I get it. This is fire. That's my beef with it.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, when we bring up Raven, like when he is with it, like when he is like actively trying, I do kind of feel like this is just he's taking this as kind of like an easy payday out of it. But like when he is bothering to like do stuff, because like I'll look at the Akira Lince Dorado match, like he didn't do a whole lot ringside, but like when the camera was on him, like he was kind of like the little stuff of like I jokingly called it like looking lovingly. Like as Akira was tearing away at Lindsay's face, and Raven's like was just like it felt like it was warming his heart. Like he did that right, but then like he also comes across a lot of times as very disinterested, or he comes out just for the entrance and then wanders to the back. And
I mean, it was, and we'll jump next topic, but the last promo they did where they were all kind of talking and Mandy Leon was wrapping the chain around her hands. All of them seemed like they were engaged. And every time he came in, he was just kind of like, yeah, I'm here, you know, like, and it takes away from the entire movement. Yeah. That's why I'm like, you know what? I'm probably never going to like this. I want to, but I'm never going to like it. Gentlemen, I think we hit all topics on this. We got 2 more to go. And this next one will be back on a high again. So for myself, these 2, because this guy is MIA again somewhere, we out of here. Deuces.